How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to make a video talking about ways that you can improve at PVM. This is going to be aimed at people that are below my level of PVM, which of course there's plenty of people that are way above. I am not claiming to be this pro person at PVM. However, I have improved a hell of a lot from when I started YouTube to where I am now. If you guys go back to when I started YouTube and I don't know, like go back to the beginning of my Preparing for God Wars series, for example, you will see the difference. You can actually probably watch that and see the improvement in the PVM, the bossing and all that sort of stuff along the way. And there's a massive difference. There really is. It's insane to think about. And I actually watched one of the videos recently and holy hell was it bad. That's what gave me the idea for this video though. So what I'm going to do today is go through the stuff that helped me improve at PVM along the way, and also things that will probably help you improve at PVM as well. If you're someone who is getting into PVM, maybe you're a new player altogether, maybe it's something that you're not quite at yet, but you're interested in knowing about what you should do when you get there. So hopefully this video helps you out. If it does, leave a like on it, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and also for the people who are better than me at PVM, leave a comment down below for anything that I miss for other people to read through and get some more tips that I didn't include in this video. Before we do get started, I just wanted to quickly mention that there is a second channel that I've made for shorts on YouTube, which is because I've got a lot of stuff that I can make into shorts. However, people have said that they want to keep the shorts on this channel rather than that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload shorts as I am already on this one every other day, maybe something like that. And then all the extra stuff, the stuff that maybe wouldn't have made it onto this channel anyway, is going to go on there. That way I get to upload all the stuff that I wanted to anyway, but also anyone who wants a little bit of extra content, stuff that wouldn't have made it to this channel in the first place, can actually sub to that channel and see that stuff too. That being said, there's a link in the description and probably in the pinned comment. Go ahead and sub to that channel if you're interested in catching all those shorts. It'll just be stuff from streams, anything that I think up over the time and stuff like that. I just didn't want to flood this channel with a load of shorts. Like I just didn't want it to turn into this big massive spam of short videos. Anyway, sorry for the interruption. Let's go. Alright, so when we go through these, it's basically just going to be in not necessarily any sort of order, but all things that you should take on board and maybe consider doing along the way. You wouldn't have to do all of them. All of these aren't going to suit every single person, but that's absolutely fine. So the first thing that actually helps a lot in learning PVM, and helped me a hell of a lot, is watching other people on YouTube and Twitch and stuff. Not necessarily just guides, but like watching people like Lucario kind of, but in a way that he's too good. In my opinion, he's too good to be watching him just to learn when you're a learner, because he's doing stuff that you're just not going to understand. But watching people on Twitch doing PVM and figuring out what exactly they're doing and just seeing for any tips and stuff. You can even ask if it is on Twitch or on YouTube streams, for example. Ask them what they're doing, ask them to explain it, and most people will be more than happy to do that. But watching people actually do the bosses that you're wanting to do, you'll pick up stuff that they're doing. For example, I recently made a video talking about all these different things that you pick up along the way through bosses, and it was just random tips throughout bosses encounters that's going to help you out with kill times, going to help you out with not dying and staying alive, and this is the sort of thing that you can pick up from watching people do it, and then you can implement that into your own sort of PVM and you can improve in that way. However, there's something really important about this tip, and that is do not compare yourself to them. And what I mean by that is don't look at what they're doing and seeing that they're getting a 2-minute kill time, for example, at a certain boss, and you're at 5 minutes. If that's the case, don't look at that and just think, I'm terrible, I'm never going to get any better. Just keep in mind, you've probably just started this boss, and they've probably done 1,000+ kills. They've probably done a hell of a lot, or they've just been doing PVM for a long time. Do not compare yourself in a negative way. Just look at them for any tips, for any information that you can use on your own, and just look at them to learn. There's a different way to compare yourself. Make sure that's how you do it. But watching streamers, watching YouTubers doing PVM and stuff will definitely be a valuable thing for you to do, so you can pick up all the different things that they do and just sort of follow through with what the pros are doing. I quite often sit back and watch someone who's doing, say, Carapac, for example. I'll watch them for about like a few kills just to get a few ideas on what they do differently to me, and then I'll add that to what I do. That being said, I can't always do it. I can't always execute it the exact same way, but that's fine. I'll pick it up, I'll get there, but I know the actual theory behind what I'm meant to be doing. The second one is probably one that actually made me learn a lot of stuff a hell of a lot better, and it was a really useful tool, and that is going to be record yourself playing. Now, what you can do without having to actually chuck a recorder on 24/7 is download something called Medal. Medal is a great little app. What it'll do is it will record in the background, but it will delete like a specific amount of footage, so it'll only record like the last 2 minutes, for example. The great thing about this is while you're doing a boss, if you either do something really good and suddenly you get a massive improvement, or you die and you don't understand why, you press one hotkey, for me it's F2, and then it'll clip the last 2 minutes, or whatever you set it to. You can go up to 10 minutes, I believe, or something like that. It'll clip that and save it as a video file. Now, The reason this is super useful is because you can go back and watch that and realize what you actually did. There'll be a lot of times when you're doing PVM that you're not going to know why you died, or you'll kind of understand it, but there'll be little things that you can learn off of when you go back and watch that clip. Because I was doing a lot of editing, of course, along the way, I used to see all the fails, and honestly, I always leave deaths in the video most of the time, and seeing those deaths helps a lot for me, because I can look back and I go, oh, I actually just did that. Why did I do that? Like, what the frick? Why? And then you can just sort of rule that out for any future stuff. Sometimes there's just some little things that are so easy to learn from, but you just won't pick them up during the fight because there's a lot going on. You're overwhelmed by what the boss is doing, prayer flicking and doing all sorts of other stuff, making sure you're doing all your switches right and timings on abilities, all that sort of stuff. You can miss out on what you did wrong. And when you're dead, you're in Death's office, stood next to me, and we're both just stood there like, how did we die? What actually caused the issue? You can go back, you can look at that clip, and this goes the exact same way for when you improve. If you do something differently in a fight and you don't even notice what it was, you get to the end and it says, you just got an improvement of 25 seconds, and you're like, wait, what the frick did I do differently? Like, what? Did I just get loads of crits? Probably not. You probably didn't just get a ton of crits. You probably did something incredibly different. So what you're going to want to do is go back, have a little watch through that, see what you did differently, and you can be like, right, that's what I need to do from now on. This is how I need to improve. And it's a really good tool. Most of you guys may be thinking, really? Watch my own clips to improve? That's a lot of things. This is for the people that really want to improve and really want to take time. But if you're throwing yourself at a boss over and over again, this would 100% be a useful tool. The thing is called Medal. You can just search it on Google. I'm not going to link anything. I don't like linking stuff with the RuneScape community. It's a strange thing with like phishing links, all that sort of stuff. Just literally Google Medal video clip app or something. I'm sure it'll come up in the top searches. But yeah, download that and start looking back at the mistakes you've made and start looking back at the things that you did right. The next thing I'm going to say kind of bounces off of what I said in the first thing, is compete with yourself and not others. So what I mean by this is, you've got a personal record, right? And you say, for example, you were doing Raksha, and Raksha's taken you 6 minutes, which is a fairly slow kill. It's not anything impressive, but it's not miles off of where you want to be, right? But you're at 6 minutes. What you want to do is compete with just yourself. Don't look at what someone else is doing. Don't look at the fact that someone's got a 3-minute kill or a sub 3-minute kill, and everyone's like, not even sub 3 minutes. Ignore all that rubbish. It does not matter. You will improve when you improve. What you want to do is just compete with yourself at your own personal record. If you can knock 2 seconds, 3 seconds off here and there as you get better at the game and as you put more time into Raksha, you'll suddenly start like saving those 3 seconds each and every time. This 100% will happen when you're learning bosses. You will get personal record after personal record after personal record until one time you knock off like a stupid amount, like 1 minute 30, and you're like, what changed? And then you'll not knock anything off that for another like 20, 30 kills or something, then suddenly you'll go back again, you'll get 2 seconds, 1 second, 1 second, 2 seconds, and this is good. This is progress. This is showing that you are improving. This is what you want to see. At some point, you're going to get to a point where you can't get any further than it because you just managed to get a really good kill or something, but you will eventually get back to that point as long as it is possible. Like if you get a 2 minute 30 kill somehow, and then for the future you're not getting any better than that, and you're thinking like, I'm just rubbish now. You've got a ridiculously good kill time. It's fine. Just whatever. But at that point, you kind of don't really need this tip. But what I'm trying to say is, as long as you're seeing improvement, just compete with yourself. Don't compete with anyone else. Just compete with yourself until you get to the point where you can compete with people in like a friendly way. But just don't let it sort of bring you down to the point where you're like, I'm doing 6 minutes, they're doing 3. This isn't good. But as long as you're seeing that improvement, look at your own kill times and then just think, how can I knock off 1 second here? How can I knock off 2 seconds here? What did I do differently in this fight? And going back towards tip 2 again, as soon as you do get an improvement of like 1 or 2 seconds, clip it, watch it back and see what you did differently, and then improve on that as well. Once you notice the individual little things that you're doing, you'll be able to work on those specifically as well to make them more efficient. And honestly, just compete with your own kill times. That's all you need to do. As long as you're beating your own kill times every now and again, that's improvement, and that's what you want to see. So I'm not going to lie to you, this is probably something I should have mentioned earlier, but like I said, these are in no specific order, so don't shoot me too much in the comments. This is going to be keybinds. Keybinds are important. Make sure you have keybinds set up, but in a way that makes sense to you. Copying someone else's keybinds is not necessarily the way to go. You can definitely do it, but I wouldn't recommend it. The reason being is everyone sets the keybinds to stuff that makes sense in their own head so that you can remember what they are. For example, if you went and copied all of my keybinds from scratch, you just went from no keybinds to fully using mine, or if you just used my computer because that's what's logged in on, and you were just playing on my keybinds, you wouldn't know what key to press at all. You'd be like, what the actual frick? Where's this ability? What's that ability? You need to set your keybinds yourself and set them up in a way that makes sense in your head so that you don't have to think about it too much when you need to press them, because you need to make decisions on the fly. You can't just like always do the exact same thing in every single kill. Something's going to change every now and again, and you're going to need to adjust to that. Like, that's just how PVM works. So you need to know where all these keybinds are. This is going to make your kills a lot smoother. It's going to make you a lot faster in certain places, and it is going to be something that will make PVM a lot more quality of life friendly, I guess. I don't know, included. I don't know what the word is. That doesn't make sense. But you know what I'm trying to say. It will make it a lot more enjoyable for you, a lot more easy, and just better. Just make sure you do use keybinds. A lot of people still click switches. A lot of people still click the prayers. That's fine. If it works for you, use it. Do whatever works for you. But setting up good keybinds, especially for things like switching gear, using defensives and stuff, are so important. Don't forget to use your defensives for one. I shouldn't need to put this in here. I'm not going to put it in here for like a separate tip. Defense abilities are like so important. Make sure to use those. Make sure they're all keybound when you need them. And along the way, you're not necessarily going to have to set up all your keybinds straight away, because along your path through PVM, you're going to go to bosses that need a different defensive, need a different ability, need you to do something else. You can make those keybinds as you go along the way. Just set everything up in a way that makes sense, in a way that sort of feels a lot more comfortable for you. Don't make it too confusing, because otherwise you're going to be mid-fighting Telos, and he's going to be doing hold still, and you're not going to have your shield on. You're not going to even use anticipate, and you're going to be dead. Please don't be dead. Setting keybinds can take some time, but it's definitely worth doing. I suggest you just sit down at the combat dummies, for example, keybind loads of stuff, make sure you're comfortable with it, try it out at places like Vindicta, God Wars 2, that sort of place, and then that's it really. Just work your way up and get back into it. Alright, so our final tip is going to be duo, trio, do groups, whatever, with people from a clan or with friends. And then when you're doing that, ask them for advice or tips on the boss that you're doing, or just in PVM in general. Even though you think they may be too busy doing their own stuff to watch you, they'll notice stuff. So like, say if you're making mistakes and making the kill a little bit more difficult for them, don't think of this as a bad thing, by the way. If someone's going to a group with you, especially like a duo, you would expect that they know you're a learner. Like, you're not going to go to duo Solak if you're not like clued up on PVM at all. So they probably are aware that you're a learner, right? So if there's a little mistake that happens and it makes it a little bit more difficult, don't look at that as a bad thing. In fact, look at that as an opportunity. Ask them for any tips. Ask them for what you should have done differently at the end of the hour or something. You don't have to ask them about the whole thing. You don't want to annoy people, but like at the end, just say like, any tips that I could have done, anything that would have made life a bit easier, and they'll give you information. They'll share stuff with you, but take it on board. Don't just ignore it. Don't feel like offended or anything. And if they give you tips about you asking, do the same thing. Just say like, oh, really, thanks, awesome, that's cool. And then think about it. Just be like, okay, cool, I'll try this. Next time I'll try and do this a little bit differently as well. And don't just be like, oh no, you're just being toxic and elitist, right? There's some people that will be. There's some people that will just be like toxic, ridiculously over the top, and just not necessarily needed in the slightest. It's not helpful. It's just purely, you're shit at this game. That's all I'll be saying. You ignore those people, but the people who are like, hey man, you should try out this next time, or maybe you should try and get this switch. This will help you out a lot. Maybe you should try use a Ring of Vigor. That'll save you a fair bit of adrenaline. It'll increase your DPS in your death swiftness and stuff like that. That's the sort of tips you want to take on board and that you want to work on. But PVM with people in a clan, going with like a group of people that you know are friendly, and the people that you know you can ask at the end for any tips, that's definitely a great thing to do. I learned so much from being carried through stuff and then them saying, right, dude, you need to try and do this, you need to try and do that. Just listen to them, take on their advice. It will be absolutely worth it in the end, and then you can work on stuff you can improve as well, and eventually you can carry them. For example, ask Salty Llama. Just ask him. He knows full well what I'm talking about. Just ask him what it's like to be carried by me. Anyway, let's move on. There's a bonus tip. We're gonna go to the bonus tip. All right, so bonus tip. This is the best one, right? This is just something I needed to mention, basically. So remember that learning PVM is going to take you a long time for some people. Some people are going to pick it up and just ace it and be like, oh, this is easy, piece of cake, no problem. You've probably played other MMOs. You've probably, I don't know, you just got something. But for most people, including myself, it takes a long time. You got to pick stuff up, you got to practice bosses, and sometimes you just got to throw yourself at a boss for a little while. But at the same time, there's a few things that I want to mention in this, but that's fine. We'll get through it. Just remember that it is going to take time. It is going to take effort. It is going to take a lot of practice for some people. If you're one of those people, don't look at other people it, learn it really quick, because that is just not something that's good to do. You're going to burn yourself out that way. But also just keep at it. You'll get there. Trust me. It's going to take time. But the second thing is, sometimes it's a great idea, and someone will agree with me in the comments about this. Just let me know if you agree. If you get this far, holy hell, nice stuff. But basically, don't just throw yourself at a boss for 10 hours straight. If you are getting a brick wall, you're throwing yourself at Raksha, right? You're just going through Raksha. You cannot get through. You can't do phase 3 at all. You've been doing it for 10, 11, 12 hours, and you've just died again and again and again, which I hope you're in practice mode at this point. But if you're not, then rip bank. But stop throwing yourself at the boss. Take a break. Come back the next day. Take 2 days, 3 days, whatever. Do something else. Come back after you've thought through it in your head, had to think about how the rotation works. Trust me, this can make such a difference. I did the same thing. I threw myself at Telos again and again and again, trying to push in rage, and I just couldn't do it. I don't know what it was. I took a break because I got annoyed. I didn't come back for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, I came back later and made it so it was so much easier. I don't know what clicked in my head, but sometimes taking a break from a boss and not just throwing yourself at something, I think you get tunnel visioned or something. You don't see the whole thing, and you're just doing stupid things, stupid mistakes. Take a break, come back to it later. It will help out a lot. Anyway, that's going to be it, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like on this video. Don't forget, if you're interested in extra shorts, not just the normal ones that I post on this channel, then there's a link in the description and the pinned comment. Go ahead and subscribe to that channel. Get that to 1K as quick as possible. Thank you very much. It's just going to allow me to post all the extra stuff that I normally wouldn't have put on here, but you guys get to see all that stuff. Think of it like an In It Yet uncut or an In It Yet extra, basically. I know it's not going to be for everybody, so don't worry. If you don't have to feel like you have to sub. If you don't want to, then don't worry about it. That's absolutely fine. You'll still get shorts on this channel for the main stuff, the normal stuff that I would have posted anyway. Other than that, guys, thank you to my channel members for your extra support. You guys are absolutely amazing. You make a hell of a difference. It is so damn good, and I love it. Thank you very much. Your names will be on screen right now. If anyone else is interested in joining the channel members, supporting the channel, and getting yourself some extra tips, click the join button by the sub button, yeah, and you get your little name scrolling on screen too. But you can see what perks you get in there as well. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you all in the next one. See you later, guys. Bye.